Well, yes and no on that. They said, I mean, before me, they said False Claims Act, they can't have input. Different than the Ninth Circuit in California, because the law, and I'll go along with the Ninth Circuit, because it says that the relator can have a hearing. Well, if you're going to have a hearing, and the hearing's in front of a judge, why would you have a hearing with no input from the judge? It just doesn't make sense. So what I did is, after that, they ruled against me. I filed a motion for reconsideration. We looked further, and we found a statute called conflict of interest. And Eric Holder is in a definite conflict of interest. Well, you should have seen the response from the government.
So he has to recuse himself, but obviously he doesn't.
Right. We asked him to recuse himself, either appoint me, let me proceed with the case, or if they want further questions about the case, to appoint a special prosecutor. Their response was, believe it or not, well, Eric Holder hasn't signed any of the pleadings in this case. Who's your boss, you assistant? You know what I mean? Who's your boss? Is there a conflict of interest in Eric Holder? Number one, he was on Obama's campaign committee staff. Number two, he was one of the few individuals named to select the vice president for Obama. And number three, he's now the attorney general, which is the person responsible to enforce the laws in this country, and also the person who gives advice to the president. Now, if that's not conflict of interest, I don't know what it is. The difference is, this now, I've asked for a hearing, and the next few weeks we should have an open hearing in Washington, D.C.
Okay, Phil, in the time we've got left, because you've got your, again, finger on the pulse of this more than anybody out there, as best you can tell from your deep research and all your sources out there, what's the real chain of events? Born in Kenya? When did he come to the U.S.? Why is he covering up the college papers? And where do you see all this going? How do you see this playing out?
Well, it's going to be tough unless we get the public behind us, because right now the courts aren't letting us have any discovery. I mean, the court in Philadelphia, that case, which is coming up for a hearing in October, the Third Circuit, deals with the fact that I don't have standing. With that, for your listeners, I mean, I don't have standing, Alex Jones doesn't have standing, and none of you listening to the show have standing.
A U.S. citizen doesn't have standing to enforce the Constitution, right, which is asinine.
Isn't that asinine? Especially go to the 10th Amendment, where it goes back to we the people. The second, the Hollister case is a good case, and then we'll try to get him on the air with you. That's the Air Force colonel saying, can I obey your order, or can I legally disobey your order because you're a usurper? And the third one, which is the pressing one, which hopefully we'll be hearing soon on, is False Claims Act. In that case, though, I filed a little different. That was Berg versus Soturo, because I'm claiming in that case that Barry Soturo is an illegal alien, therefore his 3.5 years as U.S. Senator was a fraud, and therefore his salary and benefits of over $1 million should come back to the U.S. Treasury. So for them not to allow me to proceed, if we proceed in that case, as soon as we get discovery in any case, Obama will have to be out of office. I am sure. Listen, if he was born in Hawaii, he would have produced his vault copy of his birth certificate. People say the governor saw it, the officials there. If you look at their statements very carefully, and I'll send you a copy of a letter, you can post it if you want, that I sent to Lou Dobbs to clear his act up. They never said, they said they saw a birth certificate. They never said it's from Hawaii. And if it was, they would have said it, you would have seen it. His records at colleges are sealed because I'm sure it's to show that he applied for and received foreign aid. I mean, we don't have his
Well, it's more than that. I have a copy of my vault. It's like a blueprint. It's like stamped on there. It's not the receipts that everybody gets and uses for regular business. And it's such a simple thing. I think everybody, because they have a birth certificate, knows that when they're being shown a receipt and told, you're stupid, this is a birth certificate, that it insults their intelligence. And then they find out about the Barry Soetoro and his dad and the communism. And here's the bigger question. We know, Phil, the establishment isn't going to let somebody in like this, knowing this, unless they plan to use it. The more I look at it, it looks like they picked him and chose him just because he was so compromised, and they've known this the whole time and just wanted to hold it over his head, and then now you and millions of others are sabotaging their little game plan, and you can say, well, they'll ignore us in the courts, and, you know, World Net Daily could put up some billboards, but the issue is, in the court of public opinion, I think this is one of the other things that is destroying him right now. So we're going to convict him either way because he continues to cover up the truth.
I think we're going to force, if we can get the number of people to increase, we can. You hit it right on the head. The court of public opinion. We can, if we get, let's say we get 75 million people to follow Alex Jones, Philip Berg, our websites. If we can on a certain day say tomorrow everyone should call the White House switchboard and demand to see the birth certificate, we can blow out their switchboard. The next day we can call ABC, NBC, CBS. We can ask people to email letters. We can get very easy. You get, I think it's 5 or 6 people to stand at a major intersection, each holding a sign so it spells out, Obama, where is your birth certificate? At a busy intersection, and we're going to do this off of ObamaCrimes.com. A busy intersection at rush hour could hit between 5 and 20,000 people, depending on
And regardless, this is a practice action in mass mobilization and taking action. This is how we save the country. Again, I go back to what you said, Phil. They will not release the original birth certificate, and this game of telling us that we don't have a right to see it or that we've seen it isn't going to work. Let's play this clip of this congressman where this one lady gets up and then spontaneously everybody's shouting him down. This shows this issue is mega viral, and this video is scaring the establishment. They admit they're scared. Why are they scared of something that isn't true? Here it is.
Okay, let's go on. This lady in red has had her hand up for some time.
Thank you. Congressman Haskell, I want to know, I have a birth certificate here from the United States of America saying I'm an American citizen with a seal on it, signed by a doctor, with the hospital administrator's name, my parents, my date of birth, the time, the date. I want to go back to January 20th, and I want to know, why are you people ignoring his birth certificate?
Back it up. We're going to come back and finish it, then we're going to take calls in the next segment. In the 5 minutes after that, then we have another guest coming up to also talk about Obama. But here's the Rasmussen poll. He's fallen below 50. He has the lowest approval rating of any president in modern history at this point in his administration.